Thank you for your interest in Asgard Labels. This demo will be a quick rundown of the solution and how to navigate around within Acumatica. So why would you choose Asgard Labels? Well, to simply put it, Asgard Labels is a ready-to-go, no-hassle solution. There's no external applications or integrations to Acumatica. The solution can use data from your system, which makes it fast, reliable, and up-to-date. And you can design and print your labels directly from Acumatica. Additionally, Asgard Labels is also fulfilled by Acumatica. Now, what is Asgard Labels? Well, Asgard Labels can fulfill all known labeling use cases. So whether you want to print labels with 1D or 2D barcodes, you can print it in mere seconds. You can print industry-specific labels of any size, and you can even add 2D barcodes to Acumatica reports, such as packing slips, as you can see on the right side of the screen. Now, Asgard Labels is also a flexible solution. You can print labels with Acumatica data, you can add images, attributes, and you can even use user-defined fields. And Asgard Labels also has the support for any printing languages, whether that be ZPL, IPL, EPL, or any other language. Now, Asgard Labels is constantly improving. You can create any number of models linked to GI, you can print huge barcodes on regular paper, and you can print high-resolution color labels. And there are many more to come with your input. Now, some features include a one-click print all. Now, what this means is that you can group multiple labels together and have them print all at once. So you can decide to print one label or hundreds or thousands in mere seconds. Another feature is being able to assign your printers to your users and by label. So essentially, you would assign a printer to a label, and then on that printer, you can assign which user is allowed to use this specific label. So as you can see, for example, in this image, you have the admin who has access to all 4 printers, and then you have the end user. So the admin will dictate that the end user can only use and print from printer 2 and 4. Another feature is the context-sensitive labels. What this means is that labels can be responsive to a particular context. So you can create sets of conditional rules that allow you to filter in or out particular labels. So based on a certain rule that you create, you can have certain labels be printable, while others will remain hidden to avoid any mix-up between the labels. Now, you can imagine that, for example, say you have 2 shipments, one to Costco and one to Walmart. Now you can create a rule that will filter in, for example, Costco labels and filter out Walmart labels. So that way, when you're about to fulfill your shipment, you will not be able to see any Walmart labels or print them, as the shipment will be going to Costco. So this avoids any mix-up and when printing a label. Additionally, you can define the number of items per label, for which label, and their quantity to print. So essentially, you can choose the number of labels you want to print per row on a particular screen, the quantity that is visible on the label, and you can dictate which one you want to print from. When it comes to printing methods, there are 2 main printing methods. There's the device hub, which is an application by Acumatica. Essentially, you connect your printer through the device hub, and that will speak to Acumatica, where we will have a screen to process all the connected printers. Or you can use our cloud solution, which is Asgard Cloud Print. Essentially, it is a client that you download onto your computer that'll get all the information of your printers, and that'll send all the information to Acumatica itself, where you'll be able to use your printers directly from Acumatica, very simply. Now we will begin with a short demo to go inside Acumatica and see what the solution looks like. So as you can see here, you have the shipment screen. Now this should look fairly familiar. There isn't too many changes to the screen itself. However, if you will look on the toolbar menu, you will see the Asgard Labels title. Now under this title will be all the labels that you have created and defined within the solution itself. So here I have a myriad of labels that I've created for the demo, and you can even pin a specific label to the toolbar by either favoriting it, or there's another checkbox that you can write on the label model screen that we'll see a little later. And as you can see, there's also the columns within the detail row of the shipment. As I mentioned, you can dictate the number of labels you want to print per row. You can select which labels you want to print specifically and the quantity that is displayed on the label. And so when you want to print, all you have to do is click on the button on the toolbar. And then I'll show you the label output via my virtual printer. Just kind of see what the output looks like. And as you can see, the labels are being printed out as it goes through the rows. So all the 5 labels have been generated. So as you can see, there's the food tea, food chip, food bread, and there's 3 labels for food bread as dictated in this column, label number of copies, 3 for food bread. And so there's a lot of processes that go in behind the scenes of Asgard Labels, and what to create, how to create your labels, how to render your labels, how to print them, and that is done within the label model screen. Now there are a couple other screens that kind of help you build your label, whether that be the barcode screen, content, standard, format, sequences, substitution. However, these are simply screens that will assist you in making a label. The hardest of the solution resides in the label model screen. This is where you'll be defining your template, you'll be mapping your expressions for your labels to the screen, assigning your printers, and applying your rules. Right, so very simply, on the label model screen, you begin with a model ID and a description field. These are very simple fields that are present on most screens. And then you have a model type. The model type can be either a label, which is a singular label itself. You have a group, which are groups of label that you can, so different labels can be grouped together and then printed out at once, as I mentioned. And you have snippets. Snippets are essentially reusable pieces of label. Say, for example, given an image or an address, you can create a snippet out of those and then have it reused across different labels to kind of save time when you're building your label. And so every label is assigned to a particular screen. So in this case, since this is a shipment label, I will assign it to the shipment screen, so SO3020. And from that screen, you will have to choose a view. Now the view is essentially where you will pull your data from to have it printed on the label itself. In this case, we chose the AL details of this, so the detail section of the shipment screen. And then a label has a format. So in this case, it is a 4x4. However, you can choose 4x6, 3x2, and you can even create your own formats to your own liking. And then the label has a margin, or could have a margin. This is essentially the white border around your label. And then there's a position type. This we can go a little bit further, a little later in the expression tab. So now we can navigate to the detail section. There is the setup tab. This is where you will kind of configure everything. So for example, the enable when and print when, these are the rules that you'll apply to your label for your shipments, right? So essentially, enable when is AgriLink. AgriLink is a rule. So essentially what this means is that when the customer on the shipment screen is going to be AgriLink, you'll be able to see and print this label. As you can see, I'm able to see it when the customer here, AgriLink, you can see the label here. However, if I were to change my customer, now this is Acme Food Distribution, I can no longer print or visibly click this label, so I cannot print this label. This way you avoid any mix-up, you minimize the chances of making a costly mistake. And then additionally, in this tab, you can also set a tooltip. Tooltips are essentially a small descriptor on why or what you would use this particular label for. And then you can have categories to further organize your labels. In this case, I have a demo category set up. However, you can have like customers, retailers, manufacturing, industry, and you can even create your own categories to your liking. And then we'll go to the template tab. The template tab is where you'll essentially define all your expressions. So all the fields that'll go on your label, and that is heavily linked to the expression tab. So from the expression tab, once you've defined your label template, you'll click on the load expression, and all the brace expressions that were defined in the template will load as a code in the expression tab, right? And from here, once the codes are generated, you can map a specific expression from this from the shipment screen in this case. So these are variables within the shipment screen that you can assign to a specific field or code in this case. And then you can even assign a sample value to the label. This is for rendering purposes. As you can see, the quantity right now on this label is 10. However, I can easily change that to, let's say, 1000. I save. And then render. And you can kind of see almost in real time any changes that you make to the label. So the quantity changed from 10 to 1000. And that kind of allows you to see what your label is going to look like, right? Give you an example of what it will look like when you're creating your label. When you want to assign a barcode to a specific field, you use the barcode ID column. So in this case, it is a C up barcode. And you can set as well the position of the fields on your label via the position X and Y, and this is linked to the position type. So in this case, it's based on percentages. And so that's kind of how you configure and place your fields on your label. And then the third tab is the printers tab. The printers tab is where you'll be assigning your printers to your label and then your users to your printers. So in this case, for example, I have the LT printer, which is my printer, assigned to this label. And then I've assigned my specific user, so Ltran, to this label. So that means only I can print to this specific printer. However, I am not able to print to the AR printer because I'm not assigned to this printer, and only a Religio is allowed to print on that printer. However, if I want to give access to everyone within the system to print to my label, all I have to do is leave the user field blank, and that would mean that everyone can print to my printer. So that is pretty much it when it comes to using the label model screen to create your label template or assigning your printers and kind of navigating around Asgard Labels within Acumatica. Now you can imagine that this isn't limited to only the shipment screen. As you're tying it to a specific screen, it could be any screen within Acumatica, whether that be move, stock items, item transfer, purchase receipts, and you can also create a myriad of generic inquiries, screens, and labels to kind of fit any of your daily processes. And so when it comes to the pricing and subscription, Asgard Labels functions on a subscription model. So with a subscription plan comes with 8 predefined label models, 15 pre-integrated screens, unlimited users, access to Acumatica upgrade bug fixes. It is available on all Acumatica supported versions, and you'll have access to documentation, wikis, and how-to videos. Now there are 3 tiers to this subscription. There's the basic, professional, and enterprise. The basic subscription covers 1 to 2 printers and will cost you about 2.5 thousand USD. The professional will cover 3 to 5 printers that will be around 5,000 USD per year, and then the enterprise will cover 6 to 10 printers for $10,000 a year. Now, all of these payments, yearly payments, can be separated into monthly if you so desired. And then on top of the subscription, there is a support plan. Now, the support plan will cover all the support that you ever need. So whether if you have a bug or you're trying to build your own label and you need help, you need our help building your own label, we will cover that cost. And also on top of that, the support plan includes label points. Label points are points that you'll be able to spend for us to create labels for you. So essentially, you can choose between the standard and standard plus support plan. The standard, you have access to 10 label points. That'll cost you 1,800 USD per year. And then the standard plus, which includes 20 label points, will cost 2,400 USD. And then that is on your first year. However, if you're on your second year with us, you'll be able to choose the light support plan, which is 720 USD. This does not include any label design. So let's say you've learned how to build your own labels within the first year with us, or you no longer have a need for us to create labels for you. You can take the support plan light, and that way you don't have any label points to spend. It'll cost you less, and it'll essentially just cover any support for any bugs that may occur within the solution itself. So how do label points work? So label points, for example, the point system works with 1, 3, and 5 points. So 1 point labels are basically very simple labels that just have one text and a simple barcode, a 1D barcode. 3 point labels can have, for example, one logo, one text, one address, and one 1D barcodes. And then if you go to a more complex label, let's say a 5 point label, you can have a logo, an image, a text, an address, multiple 1D barcodes. You can have 2D barcodes, or is essentially an industry specific label. So that is kind of the point distribution. And so if you want more information about Asgard Labels, feel free to contact us at info@asgardalliance.com, or contact Jermel Lewis, who is our business development specialist, at his email that is on the screen right now, or you can even book a demo on our website. You can also find us on the marketplace, Acumatica Marketplace. As I mentioned, we are fulfilled by Acumatica and certified by Acumatica. Feel free to visit our help center as well, right? We have a help center which has a bunch of articles on how to help you build your label, how to create any, basically any support that you will need. You can get information from there. However, if there's no article written on a specific issue that you have, feel free to write to our support@asgardalliance.com. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.